Hey everyone, welcome back to the Barbell Medicine YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Jordan Feigenbaum. This is training vlog 38. Yep, that's right, we're back with a training vlog. I figured it would be a good time to chronicle my preparation for this upcoming meet. It's the 12th of November, so I'm about 5.5 weeks out now. So this week is the 6th week out. Last week, which is what we'll review here, I was 7 weeks out, and I'm just gonna release videos every week chronicling the previous week. And we'll go through the meet. We'll go to the meet together and then recap after it's done. So pretty excited. It is the USPA Desert Wars meet. It's just outside of LA. In the middle of November. To answer some questions, I am going to be entering the 100 kilo raw class. I usually weigh between 93 to 95 kilos, so 205 to 210, and I'm gonna weigh the same. I like this weight. I feel like I'm pretty strong here. I have no desire to really get any bigger, and I feel like I can lift what I wanna lift at this body weight. So I'm not gonna cut any weight to go down to the 90 kilo or 198 pound weight class. I'll just hang out here, walk into the meet, and go lift some weights. So it's the open division, so you can use knee sleeves, you can use a belt, wrist wraps, but no knee wraps. And the idea here is I'd like to beat my best total. My previous best total was in 2014 with knee wraps. It was 1,795 pounds or 815 kilos. I squatted 640. I benched 430 pounds, which is 195 kilos, and then I deadlifted 725 pounds, or approximately 330 kilos. So training actually has been going pretty well. My squat, I was able to beat my all-time best squat PR of 640 pounds. I did that in knee wraps, and this time I did it in sleeves. I actually chipped it, so it was 291 kilos, 641 pounds. So that was great. Let's go. My bench press has been doing okay. I've been playing a lot of golf recently, 3 to 4 times a week, and I feel like that's been just generating a lot of upper body fatigue, which has kind of been holding my bench press back. So I'm cutting down my golf to once a week until I'm like 2 or 3 weeks out from the meet, and then I'll just cut golf out. I know like golf is not that stressful, that's true, but yeah, as far as upper body fatigue, I probably don't need any extra fatigue compared to all the training I'm doing now. Really excited for next week's training vlog where you get to see what I'm doing this week, because it's a substantial departure for from what I normally do leading into a meet, and I'm pretty excited about it because I think things are gonna go well. So in any case, my best bench, I think for the previous block was 187.5 kilos or 411. I did that for 3 singles on that day, and that's a fine place to be going into this final meet prep. And then my deadlift, the first week I switched to a deadlift bar, which does have a little bit of a learning curve. I was able to lift 715 pounds. For an easy single. So goals for the meet, I just want to beat my best total. 815 kilos was my previous best total, 1,795 pounds. I'd like to total somewhere in the 840 to 850 range kilos, and then I'd like that's somewhere in the 1850-ish pounds. I'd like to squat about 295 kilos. That's my goal. So that's 650 pounds. If I can beat or meet my best bench press in the gym, which is 200 kilos, 440, that'd be fine. I'd beat my best meet bench press and tie my best gym bench press. I just don't feel like there's a ton of upside in my bench press right now. Like 202 is not going to make really a huge difference, and the idea is to maximize total, take what's there, build the best total you can. That's why I'm going to the meet. And then I'd like to pull 340 kilos, which is 748. I've pulled 738 in the gym before. My best meet deadlift is 727, 725. So yeah. We'll see if that's there. If I can hit my numbers, I'm gonna be super excited. But like I said, we'll take what's there, see how training goes, and excited for you guys to take this trip with me. Now, This training vlog is going to be a little bit different than previous training vlogs. What we used to do, or what I used to do, is take questions that you would submit and answer them. You know, there'd be a whole list of citations and a bunch of science going on. We're doing a lot of these Q&A, releases, as you've seen on our YouTube channel. So we're doing a lot of the science stuff. And I think that's great, time and a place for that. So let's keep the scientific questions and scientific review stuff kind of separate from this more lifestyle stuff, the training vlogs. And so what I'd like to do is make the training vlog a little more personable. I want to show you guys, like this week, we're going to go over what's in my gym bag, what I take to the gym every time I go train. Provided I don't lose my gym bag or forget it in one of my vehicles in the other car. So that'll be this week. I'd love to hear what you'd want to see on next week's training vlog, so leave a comment below. Otherwise, you're gonna see how I make coffee, or see what's in the bag for my that I go golfing with. See what kind of clubs I'm playing with or something. Whatever you want to see, we'll see if we can accommodate that. But it's more lifestyle, personal stuff, and then we'll keep the Q&A drip and science questions kind of as their own thing, so that way people can search them and access them easily, rather than them being like buried in a 20-minute training vlog. So yeah, excited to see what you come up with. All right, so now let's see what's in my gym bag. Hopefully no surprises. All right, so this is my gym bag. It is from Lululemon. I actually don't know the name of the bag. I just know that it's big and it keeps all my stuff in it. So we're just gonna crack her open. Yeah, see what's in there. So first up, these are the Reebok Legacy Lifter 2s. I do change out my shoes quite often, just if new colorway or style or interesting design comes out. I do really like these shoes. So I've had the Nike Romaleos 1s, 2s, 3s, leather edition, all that stuff. I've had the Reebok Legacy Lifter 1s, I've had Nobles, I've had Adidas Power Perfect 2s and 3s and Addy Powers 1s and 2s, like all of them, right? These are my favorite shoes so far. I think they're most similar to the Nike Romaleos 2s as far as support and the heel cup and the heel elevation, but they're lighter, and I like that. They're not perfect. The little tab, what you pull across, if you pull it real tight, I ripped some of the leather off, but otherwise I've had these shoes now for almost a year, maybe a little bit longer, and yeah, they're going strong. I actually have a brand new pair of the the Alta. I don't know. I forget the name of them. The weightlifting shoes that I may switch to next, just to try them out. But so far, these are my favorites. I don't think these are adding any weight to my lifts outside of using a different type of shoe. But these are what I'm lifting with. Straps. So these are wrist straps. I got these from Rogue. I used to have the Iron Mind So Easy, the short wraps, and they were one piece, like sewn together. You can see that these like slide like this. They were actually kind of fixed, so there was no like stitching there for it to break. But these are fine too. They're nylon, so when you're using these, you're gonna want to use a little bit of chalk too, particularly if your hands are sweating or there's not chalk already on the implement. I actually don't know how long these are, but there's one version that's longer than them. I tried to use these on an axle, and they're not long enough to use on an axle comfortably anyway. But I tried to use them in a strongman meet, and they were barely long enough for me to use. It worked. I still won the deadlift event. There's a strongman video if you want to see me do strongman, but these are fine. I don't really like the leather straps in general because they don't feel awesome. They don't smell awesome after a while. But again, my preference would be the Iron Mind So Easy wrist straps. But I lost them. If you have them, if you stole them from me, I'll take it back. All right. These are wrist wraps. These are the Sbd 1 meter. I believe they call them firm or stiff. That, as far as how stiff they are. I got these back in 2014. So I know that was like the first year the Sbd came out, and they make great products. I like them. They were like an innovator in the field because they were the only ones making a left and a right wrist wrap that was IPF and USAPL approved at the time. Titan only makes like left-sided ones, and I'm like, why can't you just make left and right wrist wraps? But I really like these. And I've had them since 2014. I see no reason to upgrade. The Velcro is still holding well. I guess if they come out with another colorway that I want, maybe I'll get them. Or if Pete, if you're watching this, if you want to hook me up with some of the latest Sbd gear, hey, that'd be great. All right, have a little chalk. This is actually just like little climber's chalk. I keep it in here in case I go to a gym that doesn't have chalk, which is rare, but you know, find it. I don't love climber's chalk. It's not, I prefer the loose chalk. I don't have a favorite type of chalk other than the fact it's loose and I can, like, you know, rub it on my hands versus like powdering it. But this will work in a pinch, and it's less messy and doesn't get all over my gym bag. So need some chalk. Knee sleeves. These are also from Sbd. These are the Eclipse. These are the black ones. I turn them inside out because that's how I take them off. These need to be washed. You guys can't smell this. They don't smell terrible, but these have been out of the wash for a couple months now, and they're in need. Now, I just put these in my washing machine and I dry them too, and I've noticed no decrement over time. I've had a bunch of these pairs of knee sleeves and they're fine. Austin, I believe, sometimes puts them in his shower. I don't know. And I've heard of other people put them in their dishwasher, like whatever you like. Just make sure you wash them from time to time. These are, yeah, now while they're out, I'll probably wash them. All right, in other old school stuff, I've got a slingshot. This is one of the original slingshots. This is from like 2015. It's an extra large, about 205 pounds, 210 pounds, 5'10" and a half. And this is the one I use. My best bench is 440. Interestingly, with the slingshot, I've never actually benched more than my best touch and go bench press. I've been able to handle more for reps, and definitely on days where I wasn't quite as strong, I've been able to use more weight, use some overload stuff, and it definitely does take some tension and pressure off the chest and shoulders at the bottom end of the range of motion. But I've never actually been able to bench like 450 or 60 or anything like that in this. I just use it as a training tool, and yeah. So is it? My best single on a regular bench press is apparently quite well developed, and I really haven't done a lot of singles in a slingshot. That's not really how I train with the slingshot. Another pair of knee sleeves. I don't know why I have a second pair in here other than I just forgot to take them out. But these blue ones also probably need to be washed. They go well with our singlets. We found a bunch of singlets when we were moving warehouses, so we have Sbd singlets that are branded with Barbell Medicine over on our website. There's a link in the description below. If you guys have a meet, they are approved for all federations, and our logo is too. And yeah, if you want to rep us at a meet, you can get one of our singlets. This belt is a Best Belts Prime Cut. It's 13 millimeters thick, single prong. I've had this belt since 2012, and the first meet I used this in, I weighed in at 178.6 pounds. The center on this, it used to have a sticker. Yeah, the center on this was cut on 29.5 inches, and I'm still using the same belt, even though my waist is now 31 inches, I think, something like that when I measured it last on camera for how to measure your waist video and article. So yeah, this belt is fine. When I tell people to get belts, I just have them get a 4-inch wide, 13 millimeter thick belt. If you want a lever belt, that's fine. I don't particularly like lever belts. Single prong is what I prefer. I don't see an advantage to a double prong, other than it's kind of a little bit more difficult to latch in. But if that's your preference, I won't argue with you about it. You can live a full and complete life with 1 prong, 2 prongs, no prongs. Do your thing. I don't like Velcro belts outside of maybe Olympic weightlifting, but even that, I would prefer one of the old leather, thinner belts with the single prong. But yeah, people have used Velcro belts with success. I just, for powerlifting, I've busted a lever belt, and I've definitely seen belts come undone that are Velcro in squats, and that seems concerning. Okay, what else we got in here? I got a pair of bands. Sometimes I do banded work. And I just want a pair of bands that are matched, meaning like they're the same level of like stretched outness. There's a technical term for that, but it is eluding me right now. So I just have a pair of mini bands. I use mini bands on pretty much everything if I'm doing banded work. So squats against bands, bench against bands, deadlift against bands. I pretty much always use these. Sometimes I'll use micro minis on the bench press. But the idea is you would have like about 20% of your 1 rep max in accommodating resistance, whether that's chains, bands, etc. And these, depending on how you anchor them, if they're doubled up, singled up, yeah, you're getting about that. And I just don't want one side of the bar to be like, wow, that's way harder, and the other one's way easier, because one band people used to stretch with all the time, and the other band has been sitting there. So I just have my own, carry them around, pretty portable. What else is in here? I got another pair of wrist straps. They're the same Sbd ones. These are actually new. I thought I lost my old pair and I was so bummed about it, but then I found them. It's a recurring theme. I think I lose something and then have to replace it. But yeah, these are brand new. I just never use them because I just like my old ones. If the Velcro starts to fail, at least I got a backup. These were given to me as a gift. These are Sbd wrist straps. These are the smaller, like flexible ones. If I had to do like front squats or Olympic weightlifting or something like that, I'd probably use these. A little bit more flexibility rather than a full cast around the wrist. But since I don't do those, I don't ever use these. What else? I have some pink athletic tape that I use if I tear my hand open or otherwise need to cover something on my hand. So use that. This is just K-tape, kinesio tape. I just find it's a little more flexible and kind of sticks to the hand a little bit better than like regular white athletic tape, but you may have a different preference. What else? Oh. It looks like a baby powder thing went off in here because I think that's exactly what happened, but I believe I threw that away. There's nothing in that one. All right, what do I have over here? AirPods. These are what I use. They stick in my ears at maximal attempts. They're noise canceling. They're fine. I've had Beats. I've had the regular AirPods. I've had the, what was it, like Flywire or something like that, some other brand. They're all fine, right? But these are just convenient. I use them when I'm lifting, when I'm working, when I'm on a plane, whatever, and pretty versatile. So I keep these in the bag. Nothing else in there. I'm just curious, like, did I leave anything in here? Oh, I got some smelling salt. Yeah, cool. I don't have to buy this for the meet. So I only use smelling salts at a meet on 3rd attempts. I don't use it in the gym. Even under testing situations, I just find like I want to keep that in the meet, for 3rd attempts where it really, really matters. And it just really doesn't matter in the gym. Not to say that, PRs in the gym aren't important, but it's like, the money's on the line, the win is on the line. I just want to have that little extra, final gear to shift into. That said, if you've never used it before and you want to like see if you like it or not, you can use it at the gym. That's fine. I just don't use it for everything all the time. Otherwise, where is that next level you can take things to? I think that's it. So that's what's in my gym bag. Hopefully you found some of that interesting. Oh yeah. The final thing I bring to the gym is this camera. This is definitely overkill. This is a Sony a7R4. I have another camera that I'm filming this thing on, this YouTube video on. But yeah, this is what I take to the gym. Sony a7R4. It's got a Zeiss 50mm 1.4 lens on there. That's what makes me look halfway presentable when I'm lifting weights. Got a Rode VideoMic Pro mic on there, and then this is a newer tripod, and it like extends and whatever. All right, so now let's take a look at this past week's training. Again, I was 7 weeks out last week, 6 weeks out this week. So last week was actually a deload week. It was my first deload week in about 20 weeks. So the previous mesocycle was actually very productive. And so before we kind of dive into the lifts I actually did, just a brief word on deload weeks. I don't think that we should be taking deload weeks on a regularly scheduled basis unless there's like a firm, concrete, non-arbitrary date that you need to peak for a meet, a test, competition, something like that, and need to transition your training before that to prepare adequately for that test. Meaning, if it's a powerlifting meet, you're doing more singles, you're specializing the training to the movements that you're going to be tested on, stuff like that. If you don't have to do that, or if your test is kind of flexible, meaning that you could, go test your lifts in the gym whenever you want to, I don't think that you need to plan deloads. If your training is working for you right now, you're highly motivated for what you're doing, like carry on until proven otherwise. On the other hand, there are two basic categories that like would prompt me to give somebody a deload. One is psychological and one is physiological. So psychological, if somebody is bored, they are not motivated, or they are otherwise like having compromised adherence or really stagnant with respect to their attitudes towards training, hey, let's change the training up. And to transition into that next block, let's do a deload week. On the physiology side, I'm thinking more like persistent soreness, fatigue, maybe an injury or pain, that thing that's kind of crept up, and we need to transition anyways into something that more, meets the person where they're at. But the idea is that if your programming regularly requires deloads like every fourth week, I don't know that the thing is programmed very well. A lot of our templates do have regularly programmed deload weeks, but the idea is that we're trying to build a template for the general population, and on average, most mesocycles that are well programmed are going to last somewhere between 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the goal and the population that you're applying the training to. But like I said, my previous mesocycle lasted 20 weeks. And again, the only reason we kept running it with just small tweaks here and there to maybe movements and maybe total training stress, it just kept working. So if your training is working and you're motivated and you're not having this persistent fatigue or soreness or anything else that's compromising your training, like, carry on. That would be my recommendation. Okay, so with that out of the way, what are the goals of a deload week? What you'd like to do is to prepare the individual or the lifter for the next training block, whether it's new movements, new rep schemes, stuff like that. That's a good place to kind of introduce those things so that way they can hit the ground running. Another thing that is pretty consistent across all different types or styles of deload weeks is to reduce the amount of fatigue that the individual is carrying so they can be more fresh leading into the next training block. And so what you're going to see is a reduction in training stress being the training intensity, so how heavy it is, the training volume. You're going to see marked reductions in usually both of those things. And though the reduction in sort of training stress typically leads to a reduction in training load, which leads to a decrease in fatigue. Now, the thing is, if you just did nothing, no training at all, the problem with it isn't that you wouldn't dissipate fatigue. You certainly would. The problem is that you're also decaying a lot of the fitness adaptations or reducing a lot of the fitness adaptations that you previously built over your previous training block or blocks. And so you'd like to preserve those to the best of your ability. So we're talking about things like strength, we're talking about things like power, things like lean body mass, cardiorespiratory fitness. Of those, power and strength probably are the ones most likely to decay without any sort of training because of the skill component there. Meaning that you're unlikely to atrophy significantly, even if you don't train for a week, provided you're eating enough protein and not confined to bed rest or ill. Same thing with cardiorespiratory fitness. But you can definitely get weaker, noticeably weaker in a week if you're not doing any sort of training, just because of this, the high skill nature of resistance training, particularly maximal force production at low velocities or like powerlifting. Same thing a little bit with Olympic weightlifting or power sort of exercises like that do have a high skill component. So in this context of deload week, you'd like to give people a little bit of strength work to maintain their strength, right? Make sure they get a pretty decent pump, get some blood flow, and overall lower training stress so that they can be less fatigued for the next training block. And that's what we're gonna see this week in my deload week. All right, so this is day one. Pretty much every training day, there's a bench, there's a squat, and then some sort of pull or row. So this I'm supposed to work up to a set of 10 at 8. I believe this is 320. Again, like I said, my bench hasn't been feeling great, and I believe I did this on Tuesday because I played golf on Monday because it was deload week, and no, this was on Monday and I played golf on Sunday. Anyway, 320 for 10, pretty decent. Then I moved on to deadlifts. I was supposed to do 70% for one set of 4. I think this is 535, which is about 70%. And this is fine. I probably should have used collars. That's how lazy I am. And no surprises there. And then finally finished off with this high row. Now I was supposed to do pull downs, but the gym that I used to go to has sold nearly all of its equipment, or at least a good chunk of it. So this was as close as I could get. I could have done pen lay rows, I could have done lever rows or dumbbell rows, but I thought, hey, like a lat pull down, it's kind of vertical, it's used machine, it's lower, it's supposed to be lower fatigue. I can do this with this high hammer row. So this is day 2. First time using a squat bar, so that's kind of funky. This is 515 because the bar is 25 kilos. And again, I'm supposed to do a set of 5 at 8. And based on the velocity of the first rep and the second rep, I'm like, oh, easy day. And I think honestly, again, the deload mentality just kind of gets in your brain. You're like, nah, I'm gonna mail it in. So didn't even brace for that 4th rep really. And then 5th rep, I decided to brace, but then, just a little struggle there. That's probably more of a 7, but I didn't want to go up. Then on this day, so again, doing some funky stuff, Mike actually had me squatting 30% for 40 seconds straight. And then it was 40 seconds or 30 seconds, something like that. I think it was 40 seconds. And you take a minute break and do 3 rounds. So I'm not going to show you all of that stuff. So we'll just fast forward through this. But that's what I'm doing here. And let me tell you, it was uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Okay. The next exercise that I did was feet up bench, and I was supposed to work up to, again, 5 at 8. That's some of that strength maintenance stuff. This is 320 again, but with my feet up rather than feet down, so 5 at 8. And yeah, that looks hard enough. And then again, same sort of thing, 40 seconds, 30% of the 1RM, just keep moving. I'm not gonna show you all this, but I will tell you that 135 was very humbling at the end for this powerlifter. And all right, and the next exercise I did after that was that high pull down again for the 40 seconds of effort at 30%, minute break by 3 rounds. So that was the end of day 2. This is day 3. I'm doing cannonball squats or plat squats, so my heels are elevated, and I'm supposed to be doing myo reps. I'm just going to show you the first set of 15. This is 140 kilos, 308. And so with this, heels are elevated, trying to push the knees as far forward as possible. I wish I would have brought my lifting shoes, but I changed gyms and I forgot my gym bag in my other car. So I'm just doing these. First time ever doing them. They're okay. I think I could stay more vertical, but again, just more strength maintenance stuff, get a pump, can confirm. These started feeling very uncomfortable. So I did 15 here at 140. And then I did 2 sets of 4 after that. And I was like, yeah, that's enough. And then I did a second myo rep where I did 12 reps and then 1 set of 4 and was tired. All right, second exercise was dumbbell bench. So the idea was just work up to a set of 15 at RP 8, do a couple sets there. So these are the hundreds. This is heavy as they go. So yeah, nothing special here. The exercise after this was a seated row myo rep, which I'm not showing you that because it's very boring. But this is deload week. I basically each day I did some sort of squat or lower extremity dominant exercise. I did a bench press and I did some sort of row, and I made it challenging by either doing a myo rep or higher rep sets at like an 8, or I would do some strength maintenance thing, which is like a 10 at 8 or 5 at 8, and then the back off work was this timed interval set where you're just working for 40 seconds, or you could do a circuit, where you're doing something like 30% for 5 to 10 reps of squat, bench, deadlift, or squat, bench, row, or something like that. All right, so that's a wrap on training vlog 38. Thank you so much for joining me on the Barbell Medicine YouTube channel. If you liked the video, like you actually liked it, click like, let me know, let the algorithm know, leave us a comment below, subscribe for all the latest updates and videos. You can turn the notification thing on if you're into that. And then let me know in the comments below what you want to see next time. It'll be training vlog 39. It'll be 6 weeks out. And I'm really excited to show you this different type of training leading into the meet. It's a lot more training volume than I'm used to doing at this point, and pretty excited to see how it works and to take you along for the ride. So in any case, thanks for joining me. Catch you next time.